We're talking Razorbacks here on CFB Now. We got the latest around the head coaching search in Fayetteville, and I have a new list of top candidates to take over as the head hog. So before we go into the latest around the Arkansas Razorbacks, let me know who should take over as the next head coach in Fayetteville. Get in the comment section and share your thoughts. Pig Suey! Welcome into CFB Now. I'm your host, Trizzy Trace Gerard, proud Arkansas alum and diehard fan of the Razorbacks. Before I kind of break down everything around who should be hired, I want to make one point explicitly clear. Arkansas should have no problem paying up any coach that they want. You have so much money that you could potentially tap into. Walmart, Tyson, J.B. Hunt, Jerry Jones, just to name a few. You should have no problem paying up big money to a top coaching candidate. Penn State and Florida, they now have open jobs. So Hunter Yurachek, you have to be competitive in bringing in the next Razorbacks head coach. We're going to start off with the internal option because obviously Bobby Petrino is the interim head coach. He was named the interim head coach after Sam Pittman was fired after the Notre Dame loss, which was an egregious game. But I'll tell you what, I have been impressed with what I've seen from Petrino's team. One thing that I also really appreciate is that we haven't seen a lot of players decide to hit the transfer portal and get out of here. I really like that the Razorbacks have been competitive against some really quality teams in Texas A&M and Tennessee. You've lost a combined 6 points to both of those teams. So in my opinion, with Bobby Petrino, you look at the facts. They have fourth in total offense nationally. They're number one in the SEC. Taylen Green, he's ranked first nationally in total offense. The SEC, they have the second leading rusher in Mike Washington and the third leading receiver in Omega Blake. So the offense has not been a problem. It's been the defense. And when you're putting up these kind of numbers, you should have no problem, and you should be competing and potentially fighting for a spot in the college football playoff, in my opinion. Now, I will say the next few games for Arkansas are going to be crucial for Bobby Petrino. You have a few matchups that are going to be really, really important. Auburn this upcoming weekend, and then you bring the Mississippi State Bulldogs to Fayetteville, and then you travel to Baton Rouge, down to Austin, and up to Mizzou comes to Fayetteville. I messed that one up. Anyway, long story short, you see the schedule right here. These are some crucial games, and right now, Bobby Petrino obviously sitting at 0-2. He took over in the middle of the season. You're going to need to find a way to rattle off some wins. If Bobby Petrino wants to seriously be considered as the next Razorbacks full-time head coach, not just the interim, he is going to need to at least win a couple of those games. The Auburn and the Mississippi State game are obviously very winnable. I don't think Texas is at their best. LSU seems like a team that you could potentially shock down in Baton Rouge. So for me, I think that Bobby Petrino is a good option, but you're going to need to make a really good hire on the defensive side of the football to complement his offense. Now, coming up, I got a new list of Arkansas head coaching candidates that we're going to go through. I think it's like 8 or 9 different names that we're going to discuss. But first things first, got to take a quick moment to thank today's presenting sponsor, and that is Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in the whole wide world. I love Prize Picks. I play it every single weekend, whether I'm watching college football, professional football, basketball, baseball, doesn't matter. I'm playing Prize Picks. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, well, now you can pick all of those in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. It's super easy. I like to say even LSU fans could take care of it. Sorry, Lopez. He's the producer, LSU fan. Had to throw a shot. But Prize Picks put their users first, so all withdrawals are fast and secure. And they offer Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this season. Now, if you need to see how it works, I got a lineup cooked up for some college football this weekend. Cam Coleman, the Auburn Tigers, and the Arkansas Razorbacks are going at it. The Razorbacks defense stinks, so I'm going to take his more on longest reception. Mike Washington, I think he's going to have another big day. 78.5 rushing yards, taking the more there. And then Ty Simpson, life's too short to project the less, so I went the more on his passing yards against South Carolina. If you want to fade these picks, you want to tail these picks, do whatever you want. Just make sure you do it on Prize Picks. If you download the app today and use code CLNS, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. All of that information is available in the comments and description of this video. Now let's start off with a very obvious name. No mystery here, Rhett Lashlee. I'm a huge fan of this option. I think he would be a tremendous hire. There's a lot of reasons he's tied to the Arkansas Razorbacks. He was a quarterback. He is from the area. And I do think that he is, in my personal opinion, one of my top choices to be the next head Hog. But the question is fair to ask, would he leave SMU? And they are a competitive team in the ACC. He's got a good thing going. He has his brand of football being played out there here in Dallas. So I wonder if Rhett Lashlee would be willing to pick up and move over to the SEC and try to compete over there with his former team. And I just find it to be hard for him to be like, you know what, let's just pick up and go. I'm not saying it won't happen. I think the boosters and I think the supporters in Fayetteville are going to be in an all-out blitz to go get Rhett Lashlee, but it takes two to tango. He's got to want the job, and the Razorbacks probably want him. Now, another name that recently entered the fold, James Franklin. And I've seen a lot of discourse about this idea, and personally, I'm not necessarily sure what I would do. I don't think hiring him would be a bad idea, but I can also understand why some people are a little bit more hesitant. Now, in case you guys were curious, you want to get a little fired up about James Franklin. On College Game Day, he recently said this: I thought we were going to win a national championship up at Penn State. We were close. That goal hasn't changed. We're just going to win a national championship somewhere else. And look, Penn State was in a really, really bad position before James Franklin took over. And for the Arkansas Razorbacks, it's not like they're in the absolute dog days of their existence. I mean, I was at school in Fayetteville during the Chad Morris era. It was horrible. It's not that bad, but it's still pretty bad. So for Arkansas, I don't think that you should be sitting here saying, no, we're too good for James Franklin. I mean, at the bare minimum, I think he could help turn the program around. I think he could help with recruiting. I think he could be a good coach. And he even went on to say that he's been coaching football for 30 years. He loves it. He doesn't have hobbies outside of football. It's part of his identity, and he's excited for the next challenge. And I think the Arkansas Razorbacks job is a really nice challenge for a really good coach, and we'll have to see if there's interest. Again, there's a lot of jobs that are being available, and more will come, but I think James Franklin should be high on the list for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Jeff Brohm, I really like him as an option. He's a quarterback whisperer. He's a program builder. His teams play very, very tough. They're smart. They're fast. They're physical. And to me, that is the SEC formula right there. Now, it is worth noting his buyout is over $33 million. So if Arkansas wanted him, they would have to be ready to pay some money. So Jeff Brohm, in my opinion, I think it would be a home run hire for all the reasons we listed. Quarterback whisperer, program builder, tough coach, plays smart, plays fast. I think he could fit in the SEC, but I also, just like James Franklin, or just like Rhett Lashlee will say, it takes two to tango. So I think it would be a long shot to get him out of Louisville, but I can say this: I think it would be a home run hire for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Another name that I've mentioned before that I really, really like is Jon Sumrall. Before we even dive into this, gotta say, have y'all seen the new Tulane uniforms? They are unbelievable. Gotta say, they're probably the freshest I've seen in college football in a long, long time. But what Jon Sumrall is doing at Tulane is absolutely incredible. And he is a winner. He had 2 years at Troy as a coach, 2 conference titles in those years. He's a Texarkana native. He has a defensive background, so that would be something that you could pretty much lock down. That would be better for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Their defense is absolutely non-existent. But maybe if you hire Jon Sumrall, he would be inclined to stick around or keep Bobby Petrino around as the OC. Who knows what will happen in that regard, but I do think that Jon Sumrall would be an awesome hire. He's doing incredible things at Tulane, and they are a team that's competing as a group of 5 squad for the college football playoff, and they are really, really, really nice. I also will say there's a name out there that I just want to not touch with a 10-foot pole. Keep Billy Napier as far away from the 479 as possible. Don't let him into Springdale. Don't let him land at the airport. Don't let him go go play at Top Golf up in Rogers. Don't let him go play golf out there. Don't let him near Bentonville. I don't want him in Arkansas. I don't think this would be a good hire. I think this would be a waste of time. And quite frankly, we would be having this conversation again in a few years. Keep Billy Napier away from Fayetteville. But some more names that I think should come to Fayetteville. I really like Alex Golesh, the head coach of USF. The Bulls were 4-29 the 3 years before Golesh took over. Since then, they are now 20-13. They have a 6-1 record in 2025. The only loss was to a top-ranked Miami Hurricanes team. I think that he could be a fun addition to the Arkansas Razorback coaching staff. I think that he could be a interesting guy. He has experience in the SEC. But Jon Gruden is another name that I've talked about a lot. The vibes would just be immaculate. He loves football. The recruiting would be great. I think that he would be so much fun in college football. He's a football guy through and through. And to be totally honest, it just would be such a wild card. It would be such a what the heck are we doing kind of move. But call me crazy. Maybe I'm a young guy. Maybe I'm a little bit ridiculous. I'd like to have a little bit of chaos out in Fayetteville. Maybe it won't be as bad as Belichick out in UNC, but you know, I can't sit here and say that I would be mad if Jon Gruden was the Razorbacks head coach. I think it would be so fun. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Dan Mullen, this is a name that has been rumored a lot around the Arkansas Razorbacks job. He produces strong offense. He's a proven winner in the SEC. But he did actually speak about the Arkansas Razorbacks job, taking to Twitter saying he has 0.0 interest in Arkansas. I thought it was pretty funny that he was tweeting about the Razorbacks and then went on to lose. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. All in all, I don't think that it would be a bad idea to hire Dan Mullen. If he's not interested, then why would he go? They did say that we need to hire Gus Malzahn. For what it's worth, I would have hired Gus Malzahn after the Chad Morris era during that head coaching search. Not now. I'm good. I think I'll pass, just personally. Now, last name that we're going to discuss here, Ryan Silverfield, head coach of Memphis. Obviously, the Tigers took down the Razorbacks in Memphis. He's a coach that's turned around the Memphis football program. They are a team competing at a very high level with quarterback Brendan Lewis. And I think that if you wanted to go and get a guy who is a program builder who can potentially help turn this program around, Ryan Silverfield could be a decent option. Now, we went through a ton of names for you here on CFB Now. My name is Trizzy Trace Gerard. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We put out a ton of content around college football, NFL, NBA, baseball, whatever you want. Chat Sports is your one-stop shop. And by the way, we've seen a lot of support on these Arkansas Razorback videos. They've been crushing in terms of gaining subscribers, getting a ton of views. So if you want us to potentially start an Arkansas Razorback channel, full-time coverage all year round, let me know in the comments. Drop a like. And make sure y'all don't forget to subscribe.